Alright guys, what's up? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. And for those of you guys that are new around here, I just want to say that I know that this is not XDefiant footage in the background. And the reason being is because I have used the same old XDefiant footage for God knows how many videos in the past. And I really just didn't want to do that to anybody who was watching. So basically, I am using brand new Call of Duty Black Ops 4 or World War II or whatever other game that I might be playing. So far, nobody seems to have a problem with that, so I'm just going to keep doing it, and it's a really good way to prepare until XDefiant finally releases, and then you'll definitely see nothing but XDefiant. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the topic of today's video, and that is the biggest threat that XDefiant has to face moving forward. And we're not just talking about the beginning, middle, or end of its life cycle, or however long XDefiant manages to last or survive or whatever it is. Hopefully it will be for many years if you ask my personal preference. But the one biggest threat absolutely has nothing to even do with competition. The biggest threat that XDefiant faces after it releases is cheating. So therefore, the developers are going to have to obviously not only develop an anti-cheat with this, which is something that they've been doing, but also to keep up with it and update it. So that way they can continue to quote unquote counter what these cheat providers are doing. And I believe that there was, during beta, that there was some footage out of people that were cheating in the game already. And I'm pretty sure that the developers were pretty well aware of that. So hopefully they've done the best they can and will continue to do the best they can in order to kind of mitigate that and to minimize it. But something more interesting I want to talk about is that some months ago, anywhere from 3 to 5 months ago, when I started making XDefiant videos, I actually tweeted at Mark Rubin, and I'll put a link to the video in the description below so that way you guys can get all the nutty details about that. So I actually tweeted at Mark Rubin, and I basically asked him if, there was anything that he was looking into in terms of banning devices like the Cronus, for instance, right? And we all know what the Cronus is. Some very famous YouTubers use it pretty much, or have used it, or have been known to use it or whatnot. And looking back at some footage like from Black Ops 4 or whatnot, just to give an example, it's pretty damn obvious, but back in the day we didn't question it because we didn't know any better, but there was always something funny. Like, for instance, you'd see people just taking people out across the map with a SOG 9mm or whatnot in Black Ops 4, which, if you're using that gun legitimately without any sort of assistance, like a Cronus, for instance, there's just, you're not going to do that unless your target is holding completely still and is AFK. It's just not going to happen, and with recoil being visibly not there, and it's like, sorry. But if I see some of the best players in the world, like Scump, not doing that, but this other player that is a quote-unquote pub stomper is doing it for their videos and stuff like that, it's like, there's something fishy there. But anyway, so I basically tweeted at Mark Rubin. He actually responded to me, and he said that they were kind of looking into it, and I have tweeted at him again ever since, but I have not gotten a response. And understandably so, the guy is busy. He wants to basically get everything ready before the holiday break. And at the same time, when he comes back from holiday break, he is going to basically, it's going to be, they're going to hit the ground running, and they're going to submit stuff for launch. But the biggest thing you cannot underestimate and leave no doubt whatsoever is the cheating problem. Now, obviously, I'm not one of those people that's going to point their finger at PC and be like, if it wasn't for you guys and if it wasn't for crossplay, we wouldn't have this problem in the first place. Well, guys, it's even if, with this game, with XDefiant, there will be input-based matchmaking, and you can simultaneously choose on whether you want crossplay to be on or off. So you can actually mix and match the two in order to kind of minimize that, which is great. There's a lot of games that don't even have that option in nowadays, right? It's very limited. Like, take Call of Duty, for example. They have whether or not you can turn crossplay on or off, but in terms of input-based matchmaking, they don't have that as an option. So I think that's another thumbs up for XDefiant right there. So, but with that being said, there are a lot of things that other players can do. And again, they don't have to be a PC player in order to do them, but there's things and scripts, I guess, that they program into this stuff in order to get it happen. They attach their controller to it, and wham bam, there you go. And then they've got an unfair advantage. So hopefully the developers are looking into this as well. However, it is something that we need to keep an eye on because nobody's really talking about it. and it's something that that I think is a very big deal. Now, granted, because of the nature of things, I guess we really just can't stop cheating. Cheating has been a thing in video games for a long time, and for people that are PC players, it's a tale as old as time. They've been dealing with it for even longer than console player has. It was only just a matter of time before cheating became a thing in console, right? But obviously, there's a few other things that people can do on there's more that people can do on the PC side of things as opposed to console. But with that being said, items like the Cronus Zen or the Cronus Max or whatever you want to call it, these things are very popular, and they've been on back order on Amazon and all that kind of stuff. And you can even find them at GameStop and get those things. And it's a damn shame if you ask me. And of course, there's also these controllers that they can, or attachments that you can put on the back of your controller that Amazon sells. And you can probably get these things from other retailers as well, maybe even GameStop as well, which wouldn't surprise me. And at the end of the day, one of the things that needs to happen with XDefiant is that it needs to be as clean as it possibly can be. Because it would be really a big shame if the anti-cheat for this game was just not up to par, or if the developers were just like, you know, if that was their Achilles heel, so to speak, right? Like, let's say the game launched as smooth as it could launch, everything was working perfectly, it was a dream come true, and then all of a sudden the biggest Achilles heel was the fact that the anti-cheat wasn't keeping up. And the cheating situation, if it does get out of hand, is enough to destroy a game, unfortunately. And like I mentioned before, it's not limited to just any specific platform that you play on. It's pretty much everywhere now, and it's really sad, actually. It really is sad, like, that people are doing this. But hey, it is what it is, man. There's, you know, all we can do is hope that the devs of XDefiant and everything like that have a good system in place. From what I've heard, Tarkov and Valorant have some of the best anti-cheats in the business. I mean, when you look at some of the best anti-cheats out there, and if people are praising Tarkov and what's it called, Valorant, then obviously I think there's some inspiration to be had from there. But at the same time, when you create an anti-cheat, it actually has to be kept under wraps to a certain degree, so that way, you know, it's a constant chess game. You don't want to tell the opposing team what your strategy is going to be, or else they're going to figure out your weakness, and there you go. It's kind of like football. It's kind of like knowing the play that the opposing team is going to do, and, you know, you can just set up your defense to kind of counter that, and there you go. Or vice versa with the offense. So, but for the most part, it's, you know, the defense. But you guys get the deal. At the end of the day, XDefiant's biggest threat is the cheating situation. And again, if memory serves correctly, even though this was like 5-6 months ago, if memory serves correctly, there was a cheating problem. I mean, it wasn't like crazy or anything like that, but cheaters have been spotted in the beta when it comes to XDefiant. So but yeah, at the end of the day, the more I play a game like, let's say, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 or any other you know, Call of Duty or whatnot, I'm getting my arcade fix. So it just makes me that much more appreciative of the upcoming XDefiant, as well as the fact that I just want to get in there and play and learn the game for myself and start out struggling like I always do, and then make that turn around and to get better, and therefore kind of share those things with you guys, even though I'm not a gameplay channel necessarily. I'm a commentating channel. But at the end of the day, it's going to be really interesting to see how the game ends up being, as well as the kind of content that will be created around it. But overall, I want to ask, as I close here, I want to ask you guys in the comment section, what do you think XDefiant's biggest threat is? And I know I'm going to get a multitude of answers for that, because you guys have already expressed yourselves from your point of views in the comment section, which I greatly appreciate. Not just because of the point of views, but it does help the algorithm or whatnot, and it helps push the video out. But at the same time, when you get comments of people from all sorts of different perspectives, it's like, you know, there's all sorts of varying opinions, and I really want to know yours in terms of point of view, because sometimes you guys are quick to remind me of something that I didn't either think of, or something that I kind of forgot to mention in a commentary, because I don't script these commentaries. 95+% of the videos that I make are not scripted. They are me talking to you as if we were having a conversation face to face about the subject, like we could be having dinner or something like that, and we'd be having a face-to-face conversation about the subject if you were to say, hey, what do you think of this? And that is where this commentary comes in. So with that being said, I want you guys to carry on the conversation down below, if you'd be so kind. What do you think XDefiant's biggest threat is, and do you think that the anti-cheat is going to be good? And what are your thoughts on this cheating situation in games today? But with that being said, I am going to end it here. I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.